Welcome to SimSpeed TV for tonight's coverage of the LeBLANC Australian Online Supercar Championship, of course, presented by LeBLANC, West End Mazda, TTL Driver Academy, and Hazard Media. My name is Jay Kennedy. Alongside me tonight for tonight's 60-60 sprint from Brands Hatch, Scott Fountain. Fonty, it's going to be a really, really cool night of racing. We were saying before we went live, it's a track that we used to race on so much back in the day that has so many fond memories in this car.
Yes, very exciting times ahead for us, the old V8's online brand. But yes, tonight we are here at Brands Hatch, and I'm super excited for this one. I used to love this track back in the V8, in the early days of V8 racing, V8 supercar racing and iRacing, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Sure will be. Qualifying is underway at the moment, about 14-15 minutes left in qualifying, so we'll get coverage of that going very, very soon. But race strategy for tonight, pretty simple. The 60-60 format, 2 60-kilometre races back-to-back. Progressive grid, you must pit in one of the two races over these 16-lap races. It's going to be really, really interesting to see who mix up the strategy and who works out the best way to do it. Track conditions almost perfect, though, for racing. It's going to be a really, really cool night of racing. Looking forward to seeing how things go. As we said, the drivers are currently in qualifying at the moment, and as it is at the moment, it is very, very tight at the top. Jackson Susan Harlow currently on provisional pole. Only 6 thousandths of a second separate he and Luke Harvey.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Jay. It's very close, and good to see Jackson at the top. That's one name that I wouldn't expect to be beating the likes of Jordan Ross, Brett Loxton, but he has come on form in recent times, and I'm sure we're going to see him be, you know, certainly in the hunt tonight. He doesn't have the experience of what the other guys do, but yeah, will he be able to hold on? And you know, he probably doesn't need to win both the races, or it certainly would be hard to win both the races if you have to stop. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've always loved this track, and you know, I certainly prefer the shorter layout than the longer stuff. But yeah, this is a fantastic track in the V8 Supercar, one that we used to go to plenty of times back in the day, and it's yeah, never seems to disappoint.
100%, always puts on great racing. It's a tough track to pass in the V8 Supercar because there's so many double corners and things like that. It's a real tough track to get passing done. So qualifying is at an absolute premium tonight. On screen at the moment is Luke Harvey. All he has to find is 6 thousandths of a second to take pole away as he runs it a little bit wide. You can use all of the AstroTurf through the section of the track he is here. 125.2. Oh, have a look at that slide from Harvey. That was very, very cool. But it was not the quickest way to do that.
Yeah, very, very difficult, this track in a V8, and it's you're really holding on through those last sort of couple of turns on the track, and especially coming on the straight as we're just seeing him dive into the pit lane now. So off cambered, and you really have to stay off the gas, and you know, you can be fast for a couple of laps by getting on the gas, but you're going to soon wear out your tyres very, very quickly.
On board with Jackson Susan Harlow now, and we'll see what he can do on this lap. As we said, currently on provisional pole position. Best lap of a 25.249. Not much separating the top three, really. There's less than a tenth separating first, second and third at the moment. There's a bit of a gap back to Loxton, then from James Duckworth back. It is incredibly close the whole way from there back to 15th. It's a pretty tight field as Harlow has a massive slide and runs it through the initial section of the track.
There we go. So Harlow, it's yeah, phenomenal drive from him thus far in qualifying. We have another, what's that, 11 minutes still to go. Jordan Ross. That's not what he wanted, and that corner right there is so hard to get right. I tell you what, you're so committed into there, and it's yeah, you're just on the limit. And as you just saw, Jordan Ross, very experienced driver, and he's lost it.
On board with James Duckworth, but it doesn't look like he is on a flying lap. Currently in the second lap in a stint, so we'll find someone out on a flyer. Might go to Guy Leach. So he is the first driver into the 126 bracket. If you can get into the 125s, you'll gain a heap of spots. So he only has to find half a tenth and you'll gain a few spots. He's pretty close to being right there right now.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Just, you know, jump on the gas a bit earlier. Listen
Easy,
to what Jay Kennedy is. Yeah, easy, mate.
I mean, I can do it, but I mean, when you're 20 seconds off the pace, it doesn't take much to find a 10th, does it?
Well, you know, at least you're honest, mate, and that's what we like here. And, you know, it's all good fun and games, mate.
It is fun and games. We do love it when these guys... Oh, here we go. He's going to... Oh, doesn't quite improve.
No improvement there. Hey, one name who I'm just looking at a little bit further down the order, and that is the man in 37th position, Jay. Now, that is a name that I wouldn't expect to be that far back in the field, and that is Sam Sutton. Sam has been around for a very, very long time, and yeah, I'm sure we should see him definitely within that top 10.
Yeah, it's obviously made a bit of a return to sim racing recently. I think that time that he's done is not a representative time of 33.6. Looks like it was actually registered as an outlap time, so he is now on a fly, but yeah, he's a long way back, as you said. Currently 37th position. That is so far off the pace with a 42 car field here tonight. A little bit down on what we've seen in other weeks, but been a busy few weeks here within the AusNZ sim racing community. I think a few drivers have decided just to have a little bit of a breather and have a week off or two and come back bigger, better, stronger in a couple of weeks. Of course, next week we head to Sebring for not only this series but the V8 Scops as well. So another big week coming up next week. We'll see if Sam Sutton can improve on this lap though.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It has been a very busy time, and a new bunch of servers for tonight, which is pretty cool. We had a couple of issues over the last week or two, and yeah, thanks to iRacing for improving that side of stuff. So we're going to have faultless racing here tonight.
Fingers crossed we have no issues. As that time that Sutton did when he crossed the line, it would have put him to 4th position, but the lap time did not count. So obviously ran off the circuit at some point. And doesn't look too happy with himself, because then he ran off the circuit again at turn 1. So he's not feeling too happy at the moment, Sam Sutton. It's a good thing it's this strategy race, because you can work your way back through the field, as we've seen in previous races. Of course, the ruling has changed from the last round, where we saw Jake Maloney play a little bit of a smart strategy, but that loophole has been fixed up by race control. You must complete a lap now before you do make a pit stop. So everyone will be thinking a little bit more smartly about that. That loophole has been fixed and closed for this round, as Craig Jones comes to complete another lap.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's going to be such an awesome race. I tell you what, that car leading the pack, it looks pretty cool. I do like that design. It's I always like the yellow in race cars. It always stands out. It's
a bright yellow too, isn't it? It's almost a fluoro green yellow sort of colour. It's a good looking colour. So well done to the MFR guys for making that car look. So it stands out. It's more you can really say that it stands out.
Yep, certainly does, and MFR do a fantastic job. And yeah, I tell you what, their sign rider, he's done a fantastic effort there. And I tell you what, you wouldn't want that coming close in your mirrors.
You'd want to make sure that you were wearing sunglasses if it's coming up in your mirrors.
Would.
Maybe
that's a bit of a tactic, actually.
Put people off with the bright lights, as though it's seen Mick Cracknell on screen. He's now obviously a privateer, so out doing his own thing. Left the Evolution Racing team, one of the original guys from that team. He's out doing his own thing. Good to see him still out on track, just taking a bit more of a casual approach to his racing at the moment. We go to Brett Loxton. He's actually on an outlap, so we won't stress too much about Loxton. We'll go to James Duckworth though. He's about to finish a flyer, but he's 2 seconds off his pace, so that won't put him up the leaderboard at all.
Tell you what, this track is so unique in itself, really. Like, you don't see many racetracks that have these sort of characteristics. Turn 1 is so difficult, and you know, it's such a fine line of getting that brake distance right and getting on the throttle. You can so easily find yourself, as we're just seeing Duckworth there. Duckworth lost it and put it in the wall. Yeah, as Guy Leach now comes through turn 1, you just see how difficult it is really to just get the power down and use that front left tyre to your advantage.
I think the big thing at this circuit too is the elevation just makes such a difficult a thing or different element to how you set the car up. You want to set the car up to get the drive out of the corners, and The corners are so different and unique. Every single corner has its own different characteristics. You've got on camber, off camber. You've got corners that you can use the AstroTurf on the outside, so you've got different grip levels as well. And then you've got the downhill braking zones, which we just saw Blake Neck come into there, and then you're uphill as soon as you hit the apex of the corner. This is the corner here where you can really run it out wide and use the AstroTurf, but you use too much like Neck did there, you get absolute wheel spin. So it's a really, really tough track to get the car set up for, and one you've really got to compromise in so many different ways.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and you know, a track like this is not really designed for a big 1.5 ton V8 supercar to go trundling around on. And yeah, Blake Neck, he's had all sorts of sideways there. That car looks very good as well. Another yellow and black car. Yellow and black starting to make a little bit more of an appearance.
Making a return. We saw red on every car a few years ago, and it's now come back to yellow and black again as we see Jacob Knight come through the final corner. See what he does when he crosses the finish line. It looks like he's a little bit off the pace on this lap. It's going to be in the 29s. So we might stay with Knight here because this looks like it may be the start of his flying lap right now. So we'll see what he can do. Current best lap is for 15th position. A 1:26.1 is his best at the moment. So we'll see what he can do. See if he can move it up that leaderboard. Another car, the LeBLANC Redback Racing Team cars have added yellow to their livery. I must say that yellow looks pretty cool on their car too.
Yeah, it certainly does. Guys at Redback, Mark Samuel there. Oh, there we go. Lap over there for Jacob Knight. And he gave that one up. So they're running out of time now. We're less than 4 minutes to go. So this is panic time for the drivers now. If you haven't banked the lap, you just want to get out there, drive a safe one. You don't have to put it right up the top. But if you know, can give yourself a decent starting position and then kind of just stay out of trouble. And I think that's what this race is going to be, Jay, to be honest, is you stay out of trouble and you keep it on the black stuff, you're going to find yourself in a great position come the end of the race. Yeah,
100%. You just need to find yourself a little bit of clear track. Don't stress about the guys ahead of you. Just make sure you keep the guys behind you. As I said before, it's really, really tough track to pass in these cars. Really only 1 or 2 passing opportunities in this circuit. Into turn 2 and into second to last corner as well. They're really the only 2 passing opportunities and the only 2 spots we'll see any moves done as Cracknell does his best lap, but doesn't quite get up to Blake Neck. He's only 13 thousandths of a second off though. Let's see what Kyle Stokes does as he starts his flying lap for Synergy Sim Racing.
Kyle Stokes, yep, fantastic driver, and we've seen him come a long way in recent times. Oh, he's done an off track, I reckon there.
I think you're right.
He's probably going to have to pull out of that one. Yeah, he's come a long way in recent times, and yeah, I've been certainly very impressed with his pace. And he hasn't, you know, he doesn't have the experience of what some of the other guys do, but yeah, he's certainly a great driver.
Greg Sharp's about to come across the line and see what he can do on his flying lap. Doesn't look like it'll be an improvement for him. He's about 1.5 seconds off his best lap, so he could be done. Mitchell Bales is about to come through and finish his next fly, but have a look at how sideways he is there through the second last corner.
Big moment there for Bales, the WPC concreting car. I really do rate those cars at the moment. It's a fantastic colour choice. Can't rate that enough. That's my favourite for this event, and hopefully these guys have a good result tonight.
Go to Jordan Ross because he's on a flyer, currently in 3rd position, under a minute to go. Last minute of this qualifying run. See what Jordan Ross can do. He needs to find 82 thousandths of a second to get himself up to the top step of qualifying, or the front row of qualifying. It sounds easy, doesn't it? But when these guys are on the absolute limit, track temps are going up and up with 43 cars out on track. Not as easy as it sounds. I don't think we're going to see too many more big movers and shakers, but we've said that before as well, and all of a sudden big surprises have happened. Massive sideways moment there for Jordan Ross.
Yeah, there we go. He's done, he's finished. He's not going to go faster. In a good position there, P3, got to be happy with that. But I tell you what, Jackson Harlow, fantastic drive there. You had to go out in the session and really do it in those first couple of laps before temp got into the track and before too much grip got down, because we haven't really seen too many people improve.
Checkered flag is out. Jackson Susan Harlow will not improve because he drives it into the pit lane. But one driver that has the opportunity to take that pole position away is Luke Harvey. He did cross the line. Oh no!
Yeah, that's heartbreak stuff there for Harvey. Not a bad position really. He's got to be happy with that, you know. You're banked a P2, so he's on the front row, and I'm sure that he will definitely take it to the likes of Harlow and Ross tonight.
That's disappointing for him. He was looking very, very strong, and of course that ends his qualifying session. We'll see what Guy Leach can do. He's one of the last drivers to complete these flying laps. Also got Jacob Knight on a flyer as well, and Matthew Clode as well. So a couple of drivers still on flying laps. We'll see what Leach can do. It looks like he's aborted. See if Jacob Knight can improve. Also got Jamie McKnight tucked in behind him. McKnight, though, also is on a flyer, actually. So we'll stay with these two guys, see what they can do. Jacob Knight currently 17th position. We'll see if he can move up the field. Very, very tight bunch there where McKnight and Knight, Sharp, those guys. It's a really, really tight bunch through to that next group, which is, say, about 26th, 27th, isn't it? It's really tight as Knight goes faster, jumps to 13. McKnight does not improve on his final flying lap. Matthew Clode also crosses the line and does improve on his last go. So we've had a few movers and shakers at the end of that session. We'll
yeah, you're certainly right, mate. Yep, fantastic qualifying session, and this race is going to be eventful.
Sure is. Qualifying results are on screen. And Jackson Susan Harlow will start from pole. Only 0.06 of a second behind is Luke Harvey. Jordan Ross and James Duckworth on the second row of the grid, with Marlon McMullen and Brett Loxton on the third row. Kyle Stokes and Michael Hammond on the fourth row. Fifth row, Blake Neck and Michael Cracknell round out the top 10.
There we go, then back to Guy Leach. P11, P12, Sam Sutton moved a little bit further up from where we first saw him. Jacob Knight in P13, Jamie McKnight in P number 14. In P15 we have, lost it off my screen, P15 we have Craig Jones 16, Brad Hay, Nick Bennett in 17th, Greg Sharp in 18th, 19th, Mitchell Bales and Warren Pickering rounding out the 20.
And we've got Stephen Varga in 21st with Henry King 22nd position. James Stovald in 23rd with Matthew Deere 24th position. Go to Grant Caines next in 25th with David Miller alongside him, Redback Racing Team teammates. Side by side on the 13th row with David Kidman in 27th. Damien Johnson 28th and Nathan Tregarthen and Shane Evans round out the top 30.
There we go. In 31st, we have Jaden Ball. Good to see him out there on track. Mark Samuel, the man at the top of the Redback Racing Team. He'll be in 32nd. Dominic, can't say your last name, sorry, mate. 33rd. Matthew Clote in 34th. Stephen Kosicki? Right, yep. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he's in 35th. Ryan Jones, 36th. Shane Rayner, 37th. 38th, Matthew Kidd. And 39th will be Mitchell Harvey and Nick Hausler in 40.
Then the rest of the field is Mark Dial, Steve Kirk and Matt Lepideven. The 43 car field, 42 did representative qualifying laps. Matt Lepideven did not get a proper qualifying run in as we get ready to get this underway. Round number 12 of the LeBLANC Australian Online Supercar Championship. Race number 1. We go for 16 laps. And we reset, do it all over again. We're just waiting for the last couple of drivers to get on the grid. Not many drivers left to grid up, so we will be getting green right now. Here we go. 16 laps. Race 1. The LeBLANC Australian Online Supercar Championship is go, and a good start. Great jump from Luke Harvey on the outside row. Jackson Susan Harlow struggled to get the power down. It looks like he's going to get the advantage, but have a look at James Duckworth diving around the outside, trying to find a bit of track. Oh, it Loxton, a massive moment for him. But have a look at the front. Harvey trying to go around the outside. A little bit of contact between Jordan Ross and James Duckworth as well.
Oh, there we go. It's tight at the top there, and these guys are still going slow. Oh, I think Harlow's maybe got away with this. Is he going to jump on the gas? Oh, I knew this was going to be an interesting start, and we have seen all going off here.
Oh, around goes
there's cars
Blake
around.
Neck. Facing
And
the
that
wrong direction.
Opticoat car as well.
Yeah, we've got Michael Hammond.
Yeah, not good for those guys. So,
we've also got one of the. We've got. Was that Jordan Ross? No, it's Henry King facing the wrong direction. Alright, we're going to get a few West End Mazda replays and work out what's going on. It's also got Shane Evans facing the wrong way as well. At the front of the field, the pack has settled a little. So we will get some West End Mazda replays up on screen to try and dissect what's happened. Oh no, there's another wreck. That's Michael Cracknell. It's facing the wrong direction as well. So maybe a contact between he and Jacob Knight. I'm not 100% sure. We'll get some replays up on screen now. Go back to that very, very huge first one between Luke Harvey and between Jackson, Susan and Harlow. That was just a strange incident. These boys not giving an inch. And yeah, no real surprise to see them come together when they were fighting that hard.
Oh, such a difficult track. We talked about it in qualifying. It's just not easy to do side-by-side action here. You don't have a huge amount of runoff and it's not that wide. So we've seen it all unfold, and this has given Luke Harvey a run, but Jordan Ross is certainly trying to close him in, that's for sure.
Right, so now we're up to the section. We missed the one with Michael Hammond, but Henry King, see, got turned. I'm not sure who exactly by. Possibly, no, I don't even know who that was that made contact with him there, but he's ended up facing the wrong way. But, Mitchell Harvey also looks like he's out of the race. We'll see what happened with Cracknell though. Whether he was helped or whether he's done this one all on his own. The front of the field, Luke Harvey and Jordan Ross are broken away from everyone else. So maybe something happened to, it's just a weird one. Something happened to Marlon McMullen because he's dropped from 4th back to 8th. So not sure if there was anything that happened between those guys. It actually looks like it might have had a slowdown penalty. Just had to slow down a little bit of ground, which is very, very easy to do. As we've got Jamie McKnight around as well.
Yeah, just heard that going on in the background there. This I tell you what, with 40 odd cars on track, it is such a difficult place to start a race. And yeah, like I said, if you can keep it on the black stuff and stay out of trouble, you're going to find yourself in a great position.
Amazing to think we're already 3 laps in. It looks like that was Kyle Stokes went a bit wide. Oh, now remember these guys won Bathurst together not that long ago. The Majors Bathurst 1000. So that's a little bit of friendly rivalry going on between those guys, and I don't know how that'll be viewed later on. But I tell you what, it's on for the lead. Jordan Ross is closing that gap down on Luke Harvey and starting to apply a lot of pressure.
Yep, and they've opened up a bit of a gap back there to James Duckworth. Brett Loxton, he's struggling a little bit more than what I thought he would be. Normally we see him right up there at the top, but maybe this is his game plan. Maybe the car's set up to come on in those last few laps, or maybe he's just waiting for a mistake from these front guys.
We've seen quite a few guys jump into the pits too to get themselves out of that pack and negate any disadvantage they could potentially have later on in the race. We've got Michael Hammond in the pits too with damage, so he might be done. But Marlon McMullen, Stephen Varga, Nathan Tregarthen, Mark Samuel, Jackson Susan Harlow, who's taking himself out of... Oh! It's almost contact between Jacob Knight and Guy Leach. There's quite a few guys that have tried to take the advantage of this track and get themselves some fresh air. But this battle in this mid pack here is looking very, very spicy for 6th, 7th and 8th. Is Jacob Knight going to try and do something into turn 1? This does not work.
No, I think he's got the right line though. Leach needs to just give it up and potentially in and out, which is what he does. And super close between these two boys. I tell you what, that is a fantastic little battle here. I know that Knight, he'll be getting frustrated because you can clearly see he's potentially got a little bit more pace than what Leach has. As we're looking back on that car of Knight, and Leach is going to run wide, and this is going to give that position to Jacob Knight. So Jacob Knight moves up to P6.
It's getting even closer at the front. Have a look at Jordan Ross now. He's right on the tail of the car of Luke Harvey and applying a lot of pressure right now. Harvey's got to be really careful. We've been around this game for a long time, and we know how difficult this track is to pass. And I think that a few of these guys that may never have raced here in the V8 Supercar are really starting to get a big feeling of how tough this track is.
Yeah, just where these boys are coming through here, this right-hander is so hard to get right. You run off in the grass so easily. If you can set yourself up decent, you can pass into this left-hand corner, and coming out of this turn here, you want to get a good run, and this is another passing opportunity. But that's pretty much it. Potentially we saw into turn 1 on that last lap with Jacob Knight there, but if you run yourself off the track, then they're just going to come back up the inside of you.
It's a track that on paper looks like there's 5, 6, 7 passing opportunities, but with the way that the elevation works around this circuit. There is legitimately only 2 spots that really do work. Coming up to the main one right now, under brakes into their hairpin, and you can see how much better Jordan Ross's car looks through that section of the circuit as he closes that gap up. Last lap by though, Luke Harvey was a lot quicker. It's got Shane Rayner. What's happened to Rayner? He's hit the pit wall at the entry to the pits.
Oh, no way.
Wow, what has happened there?
Wow. Oh, he was trying to come in, I'm guessing, and or maybe he's just lost it, that off camber. Or you can see that car not looking healthy. It is crabbing.
Western Mazda replay up on screen. Big thanks to the guys at Western Mazda for their continued support of us here at V8 Online. SimSpeed TV, I've done it already. How long did that take? I've already
hey, you did it before me. You did it before me, so that's the main thing, really, mate. You know, I said we were going to do it, and it's probably going to take us 6 years.
Or,
another
6.5
to get
years.
used to it. Yeah,
Speaking
exactly.
of, I was just hadn't really told you too much about this. I was talking to the guys from OSR earlier today, and they celebrated their 7th birthday 2 days ago. We celebrate our 7th birthday at the end of the month, so stay tuned for a special event with us together for something for our birthday bash.
There we go. Big shout out to the guys over at OSR. Bit of a fact for you: they are the first ever league in iRacing. On iRacing, they are the first one. The ones above them are all iRacing staff accounts when they were setting up the hosted sessions, and they are the first official hosting group.
There you go. Been around for a long time, and a lot of other groups have learnt a lot of things from those guys, and guys here have learned a lot and adapted all different sorts of things that the OSR guys have done. And I'll tell you what, look at this fight at the front.
Yeah.
Jordan Ross, he's applying so much pressure right now. It's great to watch between these guys.
Oh, I love this stuff, and we've missed the pass for Brett
Loxton's
Loxton.
gone through as well. I just saw that on the timing then too. So Loxton now will start to close up on these guys too. If these guys continue to fight, oh, have a look at
Harvey struggling.
Yeah, Luke Harvey's struggling in the rear by the looks. Yeah, Jordan Ross just looks so much smoother, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, you can just see that front end understeering, and then that rear end's coming around. So as we come through this section of the track here, it is so hard on those front tyres, and you've really got to have a lot more weight over the fronts. But then, you know, you come to that point where you're putting too much weight over the front and overheating the tyres.
Mark Samuel's going to absolutely hate me for this, but he has gone around coming out of the hairpin, and that's the slowest, laziest spin that he will have all night. He will absolutely hate me for putting that up on screen. So big shout out to you, Mark. I'm going to pay for that later.
There you go, mate. You know, you've got to be named and shamed every now and then. Good on you, Mark, for coming out here and having a crack.
I'm always named and shamed, so I'm used to it.
Oh, mate, you're the definition of name and shame, mate. Let's be honest, you know. So, nah, but big shout out to Mark. Actually, does a fantastic job for this series, and for his team. He has brought up the professionalism of the Redback Racing team, and we look forward to seeing their continued growth in the future.
Yeah, not only that, he does a lot of stuff behind the scenes for the AusNZ community, working on the scheduling and things like that. He's done a lot of hard work within the community. So big shout out to the awesome work that you do, Mark. Very, very underrated and unappreciated. I've done the exact things that he's doing now within the community for organising scheduling and getting votes and all that sort of stuff happening. And it is not a fun job. It is an absolute thankless task, and he does an amazing job with it. So well done, Mark. But I will pay for that. I'll get a message probably in about an hour's time, I reckon.
There we go. You know, there's a big shout out to Mark. Well done, mate, and thank you for your efforts that you put into the community. We absolutely love it, and yeah, we're all for it.
James Duckworth's in a bit of trouble here because Sam Sutton now is closing up a massive gap between Duckworth and Loxton. And it looks like Duckworth actually coming in the pits. He's had enough of those tyres. No, he's just let him through.
There we go. Yeah, Sam Sutton, super fast driver. He took a bit of a break to go and be part of the Army, the Australian Army, but he's back racing with us.
Well, actually,
again.
Funny story. He actually was supposed to race in the Montreal race, but he actually got told he had to go, and he was deployed on the weekend. Had to go off to do some service, so he was unable to race because he was off actually serving in the Army. Is Warren Pickering looking up the inside of Craig Sharp? He's messed it up altogether. Matthew Deer's going to go through.
There we go. So easy to do. Look, you can see how these cars are absolutely struggling in the rear end. We're only 8 laps into the stint. You see the two coming around the turn there, There is absolutely no grip, and these Dunlops just aren't working too well. They're lucky that the track temperature is what it is, because if it was any hotter, these guys would probably not make turn 1.
It's going to be interesting on Monday night, where the race is a lot longer. The track is going to be a lot hotter, and they don't need to take a pit stop if they don't want to. So by the end of the race, there's going to be nothing left on some of these Dunlops. Guys are going to actually pit for tyres as a strategy call. That's going to make things really interesting on Monday. That's on the iRacing Esports Network. But we hit the halfway point in race 1. Jordan Ross is still doing a great job applying pressure to Luke Harvey. I think that Ross is just trying to work out where he can get this move done. He's not ready to get the move done yet. He's just analysing it and trying to work out exactly where he can do it. As Brett Logston comes in the pits, decided to pit in this race rather than the next one. Also Duckworth in as well. We saw Logston do this the last round of this format at Donington Park. So very, very familiar to this strategy is Mr. Logston, as Matthew Deer's been passed back by Warren Pickering. Pickering looks very vulnerable here.
Yeah, he certainly does. Falcon having a lot of pressure.
Here we go.
Oh, I tell you what, oh, a little bit of a shunt there on the way out. They're going to go side by side. This doesn't work. We saw it into turn 1, lap 1, guys.
There we go. Running a bit wide. I actually think Deer redressed that. I think he might have been able to go through, but decided to back out of it and let Pickering go again and try again, because race control do review every single incident involving any driver out on track, so probably would have got him into trouble if he did go and complete the move there. Well, Jordan Ross is on. We're just going to cut away. No, Matthew Deer was looking, but Jordan Ross is on here. This is the closest he has been. He's ready to pounce, ready to make a move.
There we go. He's waiting for Harvey to make a mistake. Harvey, very good driver, young guy, and he drives for Trans-Tasman. Great to see those guys out here tonight. Just seeing that front end of Ross's car struggling coming out of the last turn there. But Ross is just waiting. He's just waiting for Harvey to make that mistake, and he will pounce. Oh, look how close they are coming off turn 1. Is he going to pop him into turn 2? He's going to look.
Oh.
Harvey's going to close the door though, but he's going to go side by side. Here we go. It is on side by side, but Ross is going to renege here, but he's going to give him a little bit of a shunt. Oh, wow, that is super close from these guys.
Awesome battling going on for the lead of this race. And this is championship defining as well, because Jordan Ross needs all the points he can get. A little bit of a pushback from Harvey, but Jordan Ross is through and takes the lead of this race.
That was a fantastic pass, fantastic battle. Those guys rubbed doors, they rubbed bumpers, but they came out of it.
Oh, it's not over. It's not over. Luke Harvey thinking about it up the inside. It's forced Jordan Ross a little bit wide. He's not going to be able to get on the power.
This is fantastic battling. Two of sim racing's greatest in this series, and yeah, these guys going at it tooth and nail. Yeah.
This is a great fight. We're going to have 6 laps to go when we cross the line. Guess what? As soon as it's all over, we're going to do it all over again. Grid will be determined off this race, but of course if they don't pit in this one, they have to pit in the next one. You really have to think about how you're going to play it. Also, Marlon McMullen and Jacob Knight are going at it in the background as well. We're going to stay with this battle though, because we cannot leave this. Jordan Ross now leads the race, 6 to go. What a battle.
Yep, this is fantastic. These guys will go to the end. Who has the tyres, or are we going to pit now and potentially, you know, try something else? I don't think so, but it could be a chance, as we're seeing Harvey there giving him a little bit of a shunt, jumping on the power though, and he's going to lose a little bit of ground.
Yeah, Harvey's still struggling with that grip, isn't he? Just hasn't quite got the car set up perfectly. He's got the 1 lap pace obviously, but just not able to get the stint to work out for him. As Guy Leach has come in and made his pit stop. Also Dominic Ferraris also has come in, so not many cars left to pit in this race. We've got, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 6 cars. Now that's surprising to me. I thought we would have had about half and half. But we're only going to have 6 cars pit in the second race. It's going to make it a little bit more anticlimactic, I think, as Jacob Knight goes through on Marlon McMullen as he makes his return to the series.
There we go, Marlon McMullen is back. He's
good to see him back out of track. Very, very good driver. Ryan Jones, though, is under pressure. Jones is not pitted, so he's out there. This is for position, of course, because they don't have to pit if they don't want to in this race. And straight past Jones goes McKnight. Sorry, Knight and McMullen, as I get people's names mixed up as per normal. Also got David Kinman, who has not pitted. He's just been passed back by Brett Loxton. But I'll tell you what, Brett Loxton's in a great position for the next race. He's leading out of all of the cars that have made their pit stop. He's only 20 seconds behind the leaders here, so if he can get up, he's got 3 seconds to get to Matthew Deere ahead. If he can get up there and get into 5th, of course Deere is his teammate too, so if you can catch the rear of Matthew Deere, Deere could very easily let him through purely for championship points. Loxton's on for a good showing here, potentially could win the next race just based on the strategy in this one.
Yep, there we go. It's Loxton. He only drives the V8. He doesn't really do anything else other than V8 supercar racing and iRacing. As we're seeing a move in the background there, though. Not too sure who that was.
Sutton
Sam
on
Sutton.
Kinman.
Sutton on Kinman. So, but yes, getting back to Loxton. He's a great driver. He's got a lot of pace, and we've seen some fantastic results from him. But he tends to find himself getting caught up in other people's dramas every now and then, and that's kind of cost him. You know, being right at the top of the championship.
Was right in contention for the iRacing official championship this season. He and Sam Blacklock going at it right to the end. As here we go, it's on for the lead. Jordan Ross. We said that he had the car set up a little bit better, but I don't know if he has, because here comes Luke Harvey back at him again. This
Harvey's
going to
get the run. Here we go. He's got the inside line. Hey, Harvey's going to get this, but who? Oh, can he get the power down though? Jordan Ross runs onto the grass. We're going side by side into turn 1. This could open up the door though for Ross to get down the inside again, but Harvey's going to close the door. Harvey back into the lead now, but Ross will not give this position easily. He's going to try and come back, get the run out of turn 2, but he's not going to do it.
Not at the moment, but I think Luke Harvey knows where he can get it done. Oh, look at the slide from Luke Harvey. Jordan Ross is ready to pounce, come back, take that position away again. This is going to be a great fight. Now, apologies to everyone else in the field, because we have to stay with this. This is incredible. These guys have been going at it the entire race so far. Of course, we've got another one to go after this, and if these guys are going like this now, they're going to do it again in the next one for sure. Looking forward to how this is going to play out.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Joe. These guys always battle hard. We're always seeing Jordan Ross and Luke Harvey fighting. They, as we've seen in this race, they race hard and they rub doors, but they race clean at the same time. Tell you what, these Dunlops though, struggling at this point in the race. These guys though, these front two, they have looked after them. Oh, as we're seeing Luke Harvey there getting on the gas. You need to be so easy on that throttle out of all of these turns, otherwise it's just going to come around on you.
3 more laps to go. It's going to be an incredible finale for this race. So we are into the final third of the championship pretty much as this round finishes. It's going to be an amazing battle between these guys. They fight all the way to the end. Of course, the second race is a reverse grid based on all the drivers on the lead lap. So at the moment, the pole position will be Matthew Cloak. 39 drivers on the lead lap. We saw 32 or 31, I believe, the last time around. So a little bit of a mixed up field incoming. Matthew Deere gets past by both Brett Loxton and Sam Sutton. So Loxton now up into 5th position. Loxton finds himself in a great position at the moment. Just seeing a little bit of changing back in the field. Matt Leopard-Evan passing Nathan Tregarth. No, Craig Jones very slow on the front straight. Just lost a whole heap of time. And also seeing there, just being passed as well, the 47 car. Matthew Kidd.
Matthew Kidd, yeah. Here we go. Side-by-side action again. This is going to open the door up for the Synergy car as well. Back on with Brett Loxton though.
Have a look at Sam Sutton. He's closed that gap right up. Sutton's ready to pounce and take that position away.
Yep, he wants to get it done. He said in qualifying that Sam shouldn't have been at the back. He should have been at the front, and he is challenging now Brett Loxton. Don't know if he's got the pace though to catch Pickering. Fantastic drive from Pickering to be sitting in 4th.
He's doing a really good job. My maths weren't that great before, and I tried to work out how many cars had pitted. We've got 7 cars that have not pitted, so 7 cars that will be forced into a compulsory pit stop next race. But Pickering's starting to feel the pressure. Those old tyres will be absolutely hurting right now. He's got 2 guys behind with 7 and 6 lap old tyres, that being Loxton and Sutton respectively. This is going to get really, really tough for Warren Pickering. You see the grip on that AstroTurf as well. The rubber's just been laid down during that race, or during this race I should say. The cars have absolutely worked on Matthew Deere around. Deere was doing a great job as well. He was in 8th position. That car looks very, very sick.
Yep, certainly does. We saw him get tangled up at the start there, and he's limping it around. I'm surprised it still has that rear boot lid.
It's looking a little bit worse for wear. It has for a little while. A lot of that damage was happening earlier. We'll see if there's actually any contact. He's got Jacob Knight alongside him. Oh, the car's just broke on him. Knight, an innocent bystander there, got a little bit of damage from that, but Matthew Deere just, something broke in the car by the looks of the steering, or something just went. He's into the fence, so unfortunate for Deere as the leaders come across the start line to complete, or to begin I should say, the final lap of this race. Loxton, Pickering and Sutton is still going at it though, and Loxton's ready to pounce and try and take fourth.
Here we go, he's going to throw it up there, and I reckon that Sam is in the box seat here. He could take advantage coming out of this turn. We could see 3 wide coming in to turn number 2. Oh, right. I reckon we're going to see it. We're going to see it. No, not quite. There we go. So, Warren Pickering, he's getting shunted out there. He'll try and hang on, but I don't think he's got the front tyres in it. He's going to keep his nose in there. Sutton's going to back out. But Sutton's going to go back on him, and he's going to get the inside line for the next turn. Sutton will get the drive out of the next turn due to the nature of the camber, the corner. Pickering's going to hold on though. Here we go. Now we've got a right-hander coming up, so Pickering's got the track position. Oh, these two boys going side by side. Pickering though, does he have the front tyres to hold on? No. Sutton up for the next one. Another right-hander. Oh, rubbing doors there. But he's going to come off, so that's going to gift it there to Sam. I think we're seeing position done as Luke Harvey. Fantastic drive from him. He's going to claim race number 1 to Jordan Ross in P number 2.
Great job from Luke Harvey to get that position back. I don't think he was going to get it back. Neither did you. Greg Sharp's got to hold on. A couple more corners. He's got Brett Loxton coming very quickly, but it looks like Greg Sharp will hold on for 3rd position. Of course, the top 3 did not pit. Brett Loxton, the first of the pitters, will finish in 4th position. Sam Sutton will get 5th. Good job from him. And Warren Pickering will come home in 6th place. Still some fighting going on back in the field as David Miller tries to defend from James Duckworth. This is going to come down to the wire here. Will Miller be able to hold on from the Aussie Racing Cars driver?
So. I think he will be able to. He's not going to have the run. He's not going to get the drive out the turn. Look at the front end just struggling. So I think Miller is going to be able to hold on there for 13th position. Great little battle there going on. But I tell you what, Jay, person who's in the box seat for this next one is Loxton. He's made a pit stop. He's finished in 4th, which is a fantastic drive. He stayed out of trouble, and he could definitely claim this round.
Yep, definitely. And of course, reverse grid based on the cars on the lead lap, because we'll have 37 cars on the lead lap. But what that does, it just means that Harvey, Ross and Sharp, the guys that have finished in the top 3 in this one, have got a real uphill battle in this next race to try and make their way through the field and make a pit stop. It's going to be tough for them, but our unofficial results up on screen. Luke Harvey from Jordan Ross in the end by half a second. Greg Sharp in 3rd position. Good job from him to keep the car clean and out of trouble. 4th position for Brett Loxton with Sam Sutton in 5th. Warren Pickering in 6th position. David Kimmin in 7th. Guy Leach 8th. Running out the top 10 was Marlon McMullen and Jacob Knight.
There we go. 11th, Nick Bennett. Well done to him. Nick Hausler, the admin of the series, finishes in P12. David Miller, 13th. James Duckworth, 14th. Stephen Varga, well done to him, 15th. Blake Neck, 16th. Brad Hay, 17th. Mitchell Bales in 18th. Damien Johnson, 19th. And Ryan Jones, 20.
Another Jones next. That being Craig in 21st position with Matt Lipperdevan. Jamie Stovald next. Those guys are separated by only 26 thousandths of a second between those guys at the line. So well done to those guys for fighting so hard to the end. Nathan Dragarthan in 24th position. We've got Kyle Stokes and Dominic Ferraris next with Jaden Borg, Henry King, Jamie McKnight and Matthew Kidd rounding out the top 30. Rest of the field, Mark Samuel Steve Kirk, Grant Caines, Michael Cracknell, Shane Evans, Matthew Cloak, and Mark Dyer. The last driver on the lead lap was Shane Rayner, Matthew Deere, Mitchell Harvey, Jackson Suzlin Harlow, Stephen Kokoski, and Michael Hammond. Now, DNFs at the end, the last three. An awesome first race. Guess what? We can do it all again in just a minute, Fonty. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be great, mate. That was very action-packed. I knew it would be. Turn 1, lap 1 is very interesting around this track, and a 1.5 ton V8 supercar, and it turned it on there. And I'm sure race number 2 will be just as fantastic.
Stick with us here on SimSpeed TV, and we'll be back in just a couple of moments. Race 2 is not too far away.
To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game, This is iRacing.
Welcome back to SimSpeed TV and our coverage of the LeBLANC Australian Online Supercar Championship, of course presented by LeBLANC. West End Mazda has the media and TTL Driver Academy. My name is Jay Kennedy. Alongside me for tonight's event, Scott Fountain-Fonte. It's been an awesome start. Race 1 was hectic. Race 2 is going to be even more exciting. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Wow, what a hectic race we saw. Lap 1, was always going to be interesting, and it certainly did not disappoint. You know, I said that if you stayed out of trouble and, you know, kept on the black stuff, you were going to do all right, and we saw some interesting results. One person who did have a fantastic race didn't win the race, but he's in a great position to certainly win this next one, and that was Brett Loxton. Fantastic drive from him to finish 4th, and I think that if he can stay out of trouble, he is going to definitely be a hard man to beat for the round win, that's for sure.
Yeah, for the overall round points, he's in a very, very good spot. But of course, reverse grid based on every car that was on the lead lap. So we've got 37 car reverse grid. I think it was 37 from memory. But that means that our last race winner, being Luke Harvey, will start all the way back in 37th position. That's going to be a tough ask to come through the field and make a pit stop in this one. Of course, if you didn't pit in the first one, you have to pit in this one. Makes it really, really tough for some of these guys.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And potentially, if I was one of those, you know, first, you know, front 2 guys, you know, they had quite a decent lead. Do you kind of scrap the race win and try and go for the round win, and, you know, start that little bit further up in that second race? It'll be interesting to see whether they start their way back down the order, and to start back there, you know, they're going to have to really play it cool on that first lap and hope that they don't get caught up in someone else's incident.
As we said, 16 laps for both of these races tonight, which is 62 kilometres. Hence why it's a 60-60 format race. The track conditions pretty much the same as last race, 25-degree air temp. Which at the moment is 27.2 track temp, but that will rise as more and more cars hit the circuit. We're about a minute away from this race getting underway, and a big week coming up. Not only to finish this week, but over the next few weeks here on SimSpeed TV, if I could actually speak English properly. Of course, next week, as we said, next Friday night, we will have the 150 from Sebring. Of course, next weekend as well, we will have a massive weekend with Vertscops and also the World Cup of iRacing. Got the A and D semi-finals, quarterfinals, I should say, here on SimSpeed TV. Looking forward to that. World Cup of iRacing always puts on a really good show, really good racing, and hopefully we can see Aussies and Kiwis make it through this weekend from qualifying. If you have not joined, make sure you check the forums, look up the World Cup of iRacing, register your intention to race, and do your countries proud, because for the first time ever, Australia and New Zealand have separate teams, which makes it even more exciting, even more rivalry between the two countries.
There we go, that trans-Tasman rivalry. If it isn't great enough in rugby, well, just come and watch iRacing and see how it goes. Yes, the World Cup is going to be great. Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic event, and I'm certainly looking forward for us to be a part of it.
Yep, looking forward to it as well. So as we said, apologies for the row numbers coming up completely incorrect. We'll try and fix that for our next broadcast. Mark Dial, Matthew Clode on the front row, Shane Evans, Michael Cracknell, Grant Cairns, Steve Kirk, Mark Samuel and Matthew Kidd, the top 8. We'll quickly run through a little bit of these actually. We'll just leave them up on screen. So it's going to be a really interesting race, this one, and we've got guys well and truly out of position. The likes of Jamie McKnight starting in the top 10. You nearly think he'd be one of the favourites to win this race as he works his way through from there.
Yeah, I think you're right there. A fantastic driver, and yeah, it's just, this race is just all going to be about staying out of trouble. And yeah, you know, we saw a very eventful race one, and we're going to see probably double that in this next one.
Here we go, revs are rising. We're getting ready to get underway for race number 2, round number 12, the LeBLANC Australian Supercar Championship. And have a look at that start.
Oh,
Michael
wow,
Cracknell straight up the middle. He's gained 3 spots in the first corner. He's going to take the lead straight away. There's contact. Oh, and around goes.
Big moment there, and there we go.
Dial as well. We've also got Shane Evans around as well. This is a massive crash.
This has got to be a safety car. Got to be a safety car.
Don't know if we see a safety car in these the short races. We're going to replay up on screen soon. Jamie McKnight and Mark Samuel have both made it through. Sam Sutton is out of the race. Also, Kyle Stokes is out of the race. But that was crazy, crazy stuff going on there. We're going to get a Western Mazda replay of the start there. I tell you what, Michael Cracknell couldn't have got a better start. That just turned absolutely horrible within a second.
Yeah, certainly did. He was on there, and then I overtook him, just run a bit wide, and then tagged him, and then it was all on, and we just saw a massive pile up into turn 2. So very unfortunate for Cracknell.
Oh, see, our car ended up upside down, and then we got cars all going in nose to tail, and those guys that were at the back of the field in the last race, they'll be so happy that they missed that. Mark Samuel is now your race leader. That was a crazy start to the race.
Oh, it certainly was. That was it was crazy. And one person who is doing very well from that is Jamie McKnight. He's up in 5th position. I can see here, maybe. Oh, actually no. He's had a bit of a moan. Okay,
he actually is in 3rd because we've got a few guys that are in the pits that did not complete the first lap. So the timing will fix itself up now as he crosses the line side by side with Mark Dialings through. He's into P2. And hang on, there'll be a little bit of friendly rivalry going on here because Mark and Jamie, 1st and 2nd at the moment, these guys are very, very good mates. So this is going to get really intense between these guys.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Jamie is pulling a gap already. We've seen him come a long way from when he first started iRacing, and he absolutely loves this V8 stuff.
He just loves racing, full stop. Been around cars his whole life, so he just absolutely loves it. It's Ryan Jones. Have a look at the damage on his car. He's trying to pass James Duckworth, who's equally as damaged. Blake Neck behind. His car's got a little bit of extra cooling as well, so these front guys are in a little bit of trouble here. Jaden Borg moves his way through, and he's going to take away 3rd position from Mark Dial. So Dial really struggling. He did a good job to keep it on the lead lap. Blake Neck gets through on Ryan Jones. A little bit of shuffling throughout the field. Luke Harvey's already up into 17th position. Brett Loxton into 13. Of course, Harvey does have to pit. Jordan Ross has already done that, and he can now drive it all the way home. Back in 32nd though, so he's got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, he certainly does, and yeah,
he for the lead.
Yep, there we go. So Jamie McKnight, he wants to get this job done, and I'm sure he'll be able to. Once he can manage to get in the lead, as long as he can keep it out of trouble, I reckon it's going to be hard press for anybody to catch him.
I agree. I think it's always been a tough track to pass on. We've said that so many times tonight already.
There he goes.
It's so cliche. Oh, have a look at that.
He's going to get it done. There we go, and he's going to squeeze him out, and he's going to get the job done. Defend into turn number 3. Keep it cool out of there. Oh, very close. Tell you what, that was, yeah, great job, great move there by McKnight, and I think that we're just going to see him pull away from this point.
One positive from having a semi-bad race in race 1 is that you end up near the front, or at the front for race 2. Have a look at Samuel thinking about coming back. This is a good fight, and I'll tell you what, we're in a bit of a Facebook chat around this series with these boys. If something happens between these two cars, it is going to absolutely blow up.
It certainly will. I tell you what, Mike will be pushing hard, but he won't want to, you know, come together with Jamie, and I'm sure they won't, as we're seeing McKnight now starting to pull a gap through this very difficult part of the track. It's a fantastic battle for these two guys.
Loxton is already up into position number 9, and he's closing in on Blake Neck quite quickly. James Duckworth as well has been passed by Matthew Kidd. Actually, sorry, he's closing up on Matthew Kidd, I should say. And Matt Leopard-Evan as well has gone through. Front of the field, the gap is starting to extend slightly, but there's battle packs going on the whole way through the field. Of course, the field is really shuffled after that race 1. Duckworth almost making contact with Kidd. Did a good job to not make contact. He goes through now into 6th position.
There we go. So, yep, if you can move through in this one, and if you've started with someone in the back and you move through, well, oh, wow, big moment here from Duckworth. He's going to lose out a position to Kidd. Or is he?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. This car is so hard to drive around this track. It's difficult enough in the, on a smoother track, but coming to a place like this, I'm just seeing it all unfold. Luckily, these guys only have a short race that they have to try and windle this thing around this very difficult track. Is looking a little bit further back though. Loxton, he is looking super racer. He wants to get past Blake Neck, but Blake will not make that position, give the position up easily. No,
you won't. You'll make it very, very tough for Loxton as he closes in on the back of Blake Neck. Blake Neck, a very, very seasoned racer. Did a great job last weekend in the VSR Showdown at PAX at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre. Massive moment there.
Loxton.
Loxton just missed his braking point. He's going to redress the position, but they're going to be careful because here comes Pickering.
Here we go.
And a big angry back behind.
Oh, he's going to defend, and this is going to close up that car behind. That is
David Miller.
Miller, yes, there we go. And here we go. This battle between these guys, between this whole pack is phenomenal.
That was a little bit of impatience there from Loxton. I think he was thinking about how he was going to get the move done and probably didn't even realise that he missed the braking mark. A good sportsmanship though to redress the position. But that geodesic racing car, Blake Next, does not look that good. He'll be looking for a bunch of spares. I'll tell you what, there's not many straight cars out there right now.
No, you're exactly right. Yeah, local Holden dealership will be selling out of parts, that's for sure.
Gap at the front out to 1.7 seconds. Samuel and Borg quite comfortable in their current positions. James Duckworth is closing in on Matt Leopard-Evan. See it on screen now. These guys are fighting for as Matthew Kidd goes through on Mark Dial. Here comes Duckworth. You can try and over-under here and then you'll be able to get the inside for the next corner. It's the classic V8 move at Brands Hatch, but he's not quite able to do it.
No, this track, you've got to literally start like 4 laps ahead to be able to get a pass done, because you need to be smart about where you're going to get him and how you're going to exit the turn. As we're seeing Loxton there. No, I thought, well, Nick's going to have the drive out of the turn, but Loxton's got that inside line into turn 1. And I think he's going to be able to get it, but Nick will know that Loxton...
Pickering, look at him go through.
Here we go.
Good move from Pickering to take advantage of Nick.
But here we go, Nick's on the outside and he's got the drive. That's when you're on the outside, you can really get the power down a lot easier. But we're going to see Pickering get the job done here, I think.
Blake Next under pressure from David Miller. He's going to hold on to the position though. Now James Duckworth has cleared Matt Leopard-Evan as well. Oh, what a fight this is. Blake Next just trying to hold on in that damaged car, and Miller's going to get the spot. Or is he? They're going to go side by side down the back straight.
Here we go. Look at Loxton a little bit further up. This is a happening pack. I tell you what, if one of these guys makes a mistake, we're going to see...
Look at how late he was on the brakes.
There we go, Loxton. So Loxton. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Around.
So Mark Dial on that Cedar car, Redback Racing Team. He'll be absolutely gutted.
Go back up a bit because Matthew Kidd is holding up this pack now. 2 almost contact between he and Blake Neck. Also in the background, Craig Jones, David Miller side by side. This is not a section of track you want to be too wide. Also in there's Luke Harvey, our race 1 winner, but he still has to come into the pits. Might not hurt for him to get out of this pack.
As well?
Yep, yeah, but Sutton, I believe, is a lap down. He's trying to fight in this pack as well, being a lap down. So Craig Jones, Blake Neck still side by side. Luke Harvey does not opt to come into the pits. I thought he might have been smart to jump in there, get out of the pack, but 3 wide down the front straight with Craig Jones having all sorts of trouble.
Here we go. This is on. I would have definitely made... Oh, we're going to see... Is that a...
Miller there. Yeah, Miller just missed his braking spot, just made a little bit of contact, door-to-door contact with the CMR car. And Sutton trying to get up as far as he can up the road because he's on fresh tyres, out of position. He's a lap down with the damage that he sustained in the first lap of the race. He's just out there trying to have a bit of fun as well. But this pack has got really interesting. Loxton is clear now and up into position number 6. Luke Harvey is through and up into 8th position. Jordan Ross is in 26, but he has already made his pit stop and he's working his way forward every single lap.
I tell you what, Jamie McKnight, he's going to be a hard man to catch. Loxton that last lap 26.7, McKnight last lap 26.8. So Loxton needs to really find some pace to be able to have a chance of catching McKnight.
I don't think he's going to be able to do it based on the way the car looks. His car looks too damaged at the moment, so just seen a little bit of tech issues there for Craig Jones and Matthew Kidd. David Miller around the outside. Kidd, there's contact!
Here we go. Oh, well, we're going to see a big incident there. That was, yeah,
Matthew
not
Kidd,
ideal.
Yeah. Kidd, I think, was just having some tech issues, and I don't think any of the guys actually saw him at all. We're going to stay live because it's on. Marlon McMullen is now in this fight. He's got clear of David Miller, and now Michael Hammond's also in this one. Nick Bennett as well. Ryan Jones not too far away as well. We saw him start of the race, or sorry, at the end of race number 1, try and clear a bit of room around as Hammond up the inside of Miller.
There we go.
So hard to know where to watch. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, well, there is, and it's because of all of these left-right turns. We're seeing side-by-side action aplenty, and Hammond is going to hold on to it for now.
So Hammond now leads the pack from 12th back. So Hammond, Miller, Bennett, Jones, Johnston in this train now. Blake Neck trying to hold on as well from Craig Jones. We go up the field a little bit because that other pack's staying single file. Craig Jones, Blake Neck, these guys know how to race. They've been around for a long time now. These guys always race hard.
Yeah, well, I reckon Craig Jones' car would probably be the only straight one out there because it looks pretty good from what I can see. Oh, is he going to get the run? Neck struggling with that car, and Jones is going to look up the inside. He's going to break. Oh, here we go. So,
he just held on.
Oh, these cars are hard enough to stop at the best of times, let alone racing around Brands Hatch.
Halfway through this race already. These sprint races are going by so quick. We've already got 7 cars out of the race. Jordan Ross is up to 25th, not far off gaining more spots. Brett Loxton is closing up on the rear of Matt Leopard-Evans as well to try and take 5th away.
Yeah, look at that time difference between Loxton and McKnight. 0.003 of a second in that last lap. That is absolutely nothing between those guys. And yeah, I don't think Loxton's going to be able to do it. And I'll tell you what, if McKnight manages to bring this one home, he will be over.
That'll be a fun interview, won't it? Be a good fun interview at the end of the night if he does pick up a win here.
Yeah, we will.
Loxton, though, is in a really good spot in regards to round win because 4th in race 1, 6th at the moment. Current pace he's got, he could get himself up to maybe 3rd.
Yep.
Maybe even 2nd. The pace that he's got, the way that he's driving at the moment, he might be able to catch up to Mark Samuel. But Loxton at the moment, though, he's having trouble getting past Matt Leopard-Evans. Yeah,
there we go. So Mark Samuel 6 seconds up the road from Loxton. I think that yeah, he could definitely get in the top 3. There is a little bit of a gap between 2nd and 3rd, and if Leopard-Evans continues to make it hard for Loxton, I'm going to see him struggling to get even on the podium, but Loxton's going to hold it there into turn 1. But he needs to just keep it clean. He needs to think about the championship, doesn't he? And not have an incident. Oh, Leopard-Evans struggling under brakes there, and this is going to give it up there to Loxton. Loxton's going to get the drive out of turn 2, and he's going to have that position and get the job done.
Of course, you can see the orange numbers on, sorry, the orange stickers on the windscreen of Brett Loxton's car. That is the overall points leader, Brett Loxton at the moment. Jordan Ross is in 2nd position in this championship, so these guys are going at it. It's going to come right down to the wire between these guys, as well as Jaden Borg. James Duckworth nearly made contact down the hill. I think Duckworth might have this though.
Yeah, think he might. Oh, is he? Oh no! That was an interesting turning point there for Borg.
I don't know if Borg just didn't realise where Duckworth was there. That was strange for him to turn in like that. We'll get a West End Mazda replay up on screen now. As I just see Shane Rayner. Looks like he might be race over. Just turned it in. Maybe thought that Duckworth was carrying a little bit more speed into the corner. Just turned it in and he was there. So it's a bit strange, that one. It's Blake Neck now feeling pressure from Marlon McMullen. These two, there's no love lost between. So go back a long time for a rivalry between these guys.
Oh, there
both
we go.
running the yellow and black as well. Your favourite colours?
Yeah, exactly. It is, mate. I do like the yellow and black. They're these guys going at it, and Marlon's car is very clean, I must say.
It's very, very damaged on my screen.
Oh, okay, there we go. No, it's
actually
just
flipped
up.
Yep.
It's just flipped up. It's changed that for me, so it was looking very straight there for a second, but it's updated.
It's looking very second-hand. No bonnet, no front bumper. Must say the new graphic updates that they have done on the V8 Supercar in regards to damage looks really, really cool as we move on to dynamic damage model in these cars in the coming weeks and months. It's starting to look really, really cool when you actually do get damage on the car. Looks like you've really got damage on the car. Yeah,
do you think we'll see kangaroos jumping out at Bathurst?
I hope not. I hope not, but I tell you what, there were some good surprises today with the announcement that the Charlotte Rover will come out next month, and also a track that we never, ever thought we were going to get, that it was scanned about 5, 6, 7 years ago. I can't pronounce it though. So.
No, I can't pronounce it either. I was hoping you weren't going to ask me to do that because you would have just embarrassed me there. Loxton.
Let's get off track. 5 laps to go.
there we go. It's a really cool track. What's coming out? It's a Japanese track, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Japanese. There we go. It starts with T. It's got an S.
It's got a silent. Pronounce it. It's got a silent T at the start.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, there you go. I don't even know how to say it. I'm gonna have to jump in on Google and ask my friend. There we go.
You know that's a lie. You don't have any friends. Loxton is through. Oh, welcome to SimSpeed TV. If you've only just tuned in for the first time ever, this is the banter that you can get every Friday night here for the Australian Online Supercar Championship. We have fun in the commentary box. At the end of the day, we have to have fun while we're here as well. I'll tell you what, the racing has been fun tonight too. Loxton, will he be able to catch Duckworth to get a podium? Current pace he's got, I don't know. We've got 4.5 laps to go. Be pretty close.
Identical lap time, pretty much last lap by 27.1 for both of them. I tell you what, one person who will be absolutely loving life right now and just needs to keep it on the black stuff, and that is Mr. Jamie McKnight, leading this race by a whole 6.7 seconds. That car looks as straight as it did when it rolled out of the garage. He's got a lapped car in front of him, however. But yeah, great drive there from Jamie McKnight. Oh, that lap car really struggling into turn 1, locking the front.
Grant Canes, that is. He just moves aside a little bit. As we just seen Warren Pickering coming into the pits, which I believe he pitted in race 1, so he's now taking his pit stop now. It's Michael Hammond up the inside of Blake Neck into turn 1. I'm amazed at how many passes we've seen into turn 1. Oh, so Hammond just chops the nose off on Blake Neck there. You've got to be a little bit more careful about that. Could easily have ended up Neck turning Hammond around there. You wouldn't have said that Neck would have done anything wrong if Hammond did get turned into the fence.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And this track is so hard for it as well. Like, you've got so many opportunities to, you know, when they come up the inside, to up and under them, coming out of the turn. But because of the elevation and the camber, you really don't know where the car is.
Gap between Duckworth and Loxton has stayed very stable at 1.3 seconds. Last lap by Duckworth, a 26.9 and 27.0 for Loxton. But of course, Loxton did have to make passes on that lap as well. So I don't think that gap is truly, or that last lap pace is truly representative on their true pace at the moment. Loxton is closing that gap though. It is closing quite quickly as well.
Yep, certainly is. Loxton, fantastic driver, and yeah, we've seen him have some great results over his career. Spoken to him a few times, and yeah, I know that he's really focused on wanting to take out a V8 Scots Championship at some point in his sim racing career.
Rick Harvey threw on Jaden Borg, but Harvey still has to come into the pits, so Harvey will have to come into the pits next time by.
Here we go. So where will he finish up in this
We probably
event?
think he's going to finish around where Jordan Ross is at the moment. Jordan Ross currently 21st position. He's just got past Stephen Varga. Nathan Tregarthen is a lead car that has pitted, but I believe he pitted for damage on lap 1. So Tregarthen a little bit out of sequence as well. Also Warren Pickering has just come out. So I think Jordan Ross might have made the wrong call, unless he had to pit for damage from that major collision on lap 1. But here comes Loxton. Gap now, 0.8 of a second at closing.
Here we go. It's all. Oh, we've got a car around. I'm not sure who that was.
Jamie Stovall from New Zealand Sim Racing.
Right, not a good lap for him, but
stopped for a long time as well, so he's now got the car going again. We're trying to get a Western Mazda replay, but we're not unfortunately able to do that. Not able to do that even. 2 to go. Loxton now 0.8 of a second away, and Duckworth's only 0.9 of a second from Mark Samuel. These guys are all going to come together with about half a lap to go. This is going to be tight for 2nd, 3rd and 4th.
Yep, you're certainly right, mate. And I'll tell you what, I didn't expect Samuel to drop off.
Oh, Loxton!
Ooh.
That was the scary moment. He just lit it up on the AstroTurf. you can think you've got a bit more grip than you really have, and you get a little bit too ambitious with the throttle, and it can just shoot you around, especially with how close the grass is to the edge and how much AstroTurf you can use. You just push it a little bit too far, and Loxton nearly sent it around, facing the wrong direction. Just going to quickly cut back though. Jaden Borg still defending, this time from Craig Jones, but Borg has done a great job so far.
Yep, certainly has. He's pushing on. I do like that livery on that car. Very old school like. Oh, nice move there by Jones.
Craig Jones in the 6th position in that CMR car. Going to go back up the front. It is the final lap. White flag is out. McKnight across the line. He's got an 8-second lead. But Mark Samuel, James Duckworth, Brett Loxton, this is on. As Luke Harvey comes into the pits, he has to come in now. We'll see where that shuffles him back down the order, but Loxton is in a great spot to get a big chunk of points for this championship.
Yep, so I don't know, I think Samuel might have it in him to just hold on to P2, just considering his position on track right now, and these corners and the nature of these corners, you can drive a very defensive line here and generally get away with it for a lap. So Loxton's going to have it hard pressed to get the job done, I reckon, to maybe even get P3. But if anyone can do it, Brett Loxton can do it, and we're going to see a battle go right to the last corner here, and we're seeing Loxton show his nose, but he's not going to get the position easily. Oh no, but he's going to have the run for the next turn. He's going to show, but there's going to be a defensive line. Loxton will try and in and out him out of the next one, and he's going to do so, but he's got a right... Oh! There we go.
Both just moved into each other there. They both just tried to take the same bit of road, and Loxton just shows a little bit of the door, and through he goes. Luke Harvey's come out.
Samuel.
No, Luke Harvey's come out in 19th, 2 positions ahead of Jordan Ross, but coming through the final corner, Jamie McKnight picks up the win. And this is going to be a fun interview. We better have the beeper button ready, because he's going to have the have an absolute amazing time. Mark Samuel, 2nd position.
Well done.
That's not how you do it though, but we'll give you that. Brett Loxton in 3rd, well done. It's not over though. Have a look at Damien Johnson holding on here from Nick Bennett. Brad Hay not quite able to get through are those other guys, and Johnson will hold on for 12th position here in the 000. Luke Harvey, Nathan Tregarthen, Harvey around the outside on the final lap. He's going to get it done. So Harvey up to 18th position.
Good drive there from Harvey. He, I think they made the wrong call, those front 2 guys, in that first race. Personally, just with having to start the reverse grid, but yeah, fantastic drive to finish 18th there for Harvey.
Race results are up on screen. Jamie McKnight picks up the win in the end, 9.5 seconds. He'll be over the moon with how much he has won this race by. We've got Mark Samuel in 2nd. He'll be as over the moon for a 2nd position. Brett Loxton in 3rd, with James Duckworth in 4th position. That last lap will be talked about a little bit between those boys post-race, no doubt, with race control. 5th goes to Craig Jones in the end, with Jaden Borg in 6th. Good job from him to hold on. Other guys a lot quicker than him throughout that pack. 7th, Matt Leopard-Evan, and Marlon McMullen finishes in 8th, with Michael Hammond in 9th and Blake Neck rounding out the top 10.
There we go, and David Miller will finish in 11th. Damien Johnson in 12th, Nick Bennett in 13th, Brad Hay 14th, Ryan Jones will finish in 15th, Matthew Deere 16th, Guy Leach 17th, Luke Harvey, the only Trans-Tasman racing man out there tonight, he'll finish in 18th, Nathan Tregarthen in 19th, and Warren Pickering will finish in 20th.
21st, we've got Jordan Ross drive through the field after incidents early in the race for him. It does appear that he did pit on lap 1 for damage, so he has made his way back through the field to 21st. Stephen Varga in 22nd. David Kidman in 23rd, with Henry King in 24th. He had a lot of damage in that lap 1 incident as well. Mitchell Bales in 25th, with Michael Cracknell 26th. Unfortunate for him after leading into turn 1. Mark Dole 27th, with Nick Heusler 28th. 29th and 30th go to Greg Sharp and Stephen Kokoski.
There we go. Grant Caines will finish in 31st. Stephen Kirk 32nd. Sam Sutton, not the race that he wanted. He had tremendous pace in race 1 and had a great result there. He finishes in 33rd, 1 lap down. Jamie Stivold in 34th, I should say. God, it's getting late on a Friday night. Matthew Kidd in 35th. Shane Rayner 36th. Mitchell Harvey in 37th. Jacob Knight, not the result that he wanted, in 38th. Dominic Farrells in 39th. And Jackson Harlow in 40th. So not the round Harlow wanted. He had such great pace in qualifying, put it on P1, and 2 bad results. So not the result for him. Matthew Clote will finish in 41st. 42nd will be Shane Evans, and Kyle Stokes will round out the field in 43rd.
Hopefully we'll get a couple of guys in for interviews very, very soon. But coming up next on SimSpeed TV, Sunday we do have the final round of the Major Series. There are still opportunities to race. There is still entries open for the Myrtle Beach 400. Really, really cool format. Short track oval racing. Always good fun. Fonty, I know you and I both love our oval racing. It's always entertaining, always puts on a show. It's a lot tougher than people think.
Oh, you're exactly right, mate. It is very, very tough. You know, you see plenty of action happen. The short track stuff, not only in dirt and on road, is fantastic. And yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to it, mate.
Next week on SimSpeed TV, we've got 6 broadcasts in 7 days. Sorry, 7 broadcasts in 7 days, even. Broadcasting Monday, V8 Supercars here. Once again, as we said, the format will be really, really interesting with a really long race and really hot track temperature will mean that the tyre life will be absolutely hellacious for these guys and they'll have a real tough job to make it home on a set of tyres. That should be really interesting. Make sure you tune into the iRacing Esports Network for that one on Monday. Tuesday night, we go dirt racing with the Down Under Graphics 410 Grand Slam from Blania Speedway. Wednesday night, we return with the final round of the Geodesic Racing Sprint Series Australasia, which will come down to the wire. 3 drivers that can still win the championship with 1 race to go. Friday night, we'll be back, as we said, for this series. We head to Sebring for the 150. Saturday night and Sunday morning, we have the A and B group semi-finals, quarterfinals, I should say, from the World Cup of iRacing. And next Sunday night, we will have the second to last round of V8 Scops. Doesn't look like anyone's coming in for an interview, so we will wrap it up. Big thank you, Fonty, for jumping in with me. It's been another entertaining night of racing here. We love this series. It's been so much fun throughout the year so far.
Oh, you're certainly right, mate. Yep, Friday night, this is where I'm at. And yeah, most of the events I've been calling this with you, mate, and it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, we certainly love doing this stuff here on SimSpeed TV.
You nearly did it too.
To saying it. No, I didn't. I thought about that, but yeah, it was a little bit difficult to get out, but we will certainly get used to it over here on the rebranded V8 Online channel.
Yep.
That's SimSpeed TV. It's been great, this event here, and I knew that Brands Hatch was going to turn it up, and yeah, well, we saw a fantastic battle. One person who is over the moon will be Jamie McKnight and Mark Samuel. Those guys drove a fantastic race here. Brett Loxton, well, there's no doubt about it. He definitely claimed the round victory, and that was a 3rd place in this race, and then a 4th in race 1. So well done to him. But yep, fantastic, and over the moon.
Yep, looking forward to the next round in this series next week, next Friday night from 9:45 Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Check your local time. For exact broadcast times, of course, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is now SimSpeed TV. Also, Facebook. At the moment, we're having some issues with Facebook. At the moment, it's still branded as V8 Online, but it is SimSpeed TV. You can search for there. Also on Instagram, SimSpeed TV, and also SimSpeed Esports on Twitter. Big thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight. We will see you Sunday for the final of the Major Series. Make sure you do have a crack if you want to. Entries are still open. Head to pacificmajors.com for that series. Big thank you to all of the admin team behind the scene at the Australian Online Supercar Championship. Nick Geusler, the rest of the crew do a fantastic job. Big thanks to LeBLANC, West End Mazda, and also to Hazard Media and TTL Driver Academy. Until next round. Big thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.